Welcome to episode 16, peeps. Uh, as of lately, ditching the canned sodas for waters and Gatorades.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's helped out with like sleep a lot. I can't lie. It's like, cause like I've gone through like periods of like just stopping like
Mm,
drinking for like a long period of time. I think the longest I went was like 3 or 4 months,
right.
and dude, I it sucks, dude, because it's like once you get like a taste of it again,
Hmm.
you're back in that fucking loop of just going back to fucking drinking them like all the time.
Especially if
But
there's
yeah,
like my cup with alcohol in it.
yeah, especially if it's got alcohol. Ooh, what you got in that drink, by the way?
It's a weird combination that's pretty good that I got off of the internet. Uh, Mountain Dew and Crown Peach.
Dew and Crown Peak.
It's pretty good.
That actually sounds kind of bomb. I can't lie.
I did not mix it the way the guy on the video did. The way the guy on the video did, because it's for for the talk and all that, they got to be super extra. He has a pint glass, right? Regular, just plain simple blind gas. No
Yeah.
ice, no ice. He's raw dogging it, no ice. I gotta have ice. Fills it halfway with Crown Peach, and then tops it off with Mountain Dew. So, and there's actually more Crown Peach than there is Mountain Dew. And then he goes and slams it, he drinks it, chugs the whole thing, and he goes, "That's actually pretty
Right.
good." And then begins to pour himself another one.
Jesus.
He was like, because it was some guy on TikTok that's what he does. Like people recommend him like drink combinations, and he mixes it like that and then chugs it and he goes, "Oh, it's pretty good." So somebody recommended Mountain Dew and Crown Peach, and it's pretty good. I tried it the other day.
Yeah. See, whenever I mix stuff, I like a nice like balance that I
Yeah,
get like a good flavor out of it, not just like if I'm gonna like put that much like liquor in something, I might as well just drink it straight, in my opinion, at that point.
yeah. Unless you're trying to do like a single serving jungle juice type situation.
Right. Yeah.
I
Like that's
sort of did that the other day unintentionally. I was like, because like one of my go to uh, drinks is I've been really liking the Rocks tequila, Terramana tequila, and
okay,
I
yeah.
drink it with Tang.
Mm,
And every once in a while, I have some other stuff to make, like other drinks or whatever. But one day I was like, I'll mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna throw a little peach schnapps in there. I might as well throw a little blue curacao too while I'm at it. Well, since I'm already grabbing those bottles, I might as well grab the sweet and sour, which that's not alcoholic. But and besides the point,
yeah.
I mean, I had ice in my glass, but there was quite a lot of other things before the Tang went into that cup.
Shit. I'm
It's pretty good though.
yeah, see, I think my go-to for a while was rum and coke.
Hmm.
I don't know, there's just something about that mixture that I fucking like loved. Um, but because of cutting out,
Hmm.
sodas for a bit, it's been screwdrivers with like orange juice and fucking vodka.
One recommendation that I been hearing from people who are way more health conscious than us when it comes to drinking is the best healthy liquor to drink is tequila, because for whatever
Yeah,
reason, because of something, it's the only alcohol that's actually an upper and not a downer.
yeah,
All other alcohol are downers, and I mean already like you switching from brown to clear liquor, that's already like a better step. But if you were to go to like a decent quality, not like a really cheap one, but like a decent quality kind, like the Terramana or whatever, uh, you would probably still be getting like better sleep and all that.
yeah. Yep, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
So I hear.
Um, God, I can't even remember the last time I actually had tequila.
Well, if you ever come on here, you could try some of our Dwayne the Rock Johnson tequila. That is a
Oh,
little
you know
more of
what?
an expensive bottle. Like that's not expensive, but compared to like
Others.
like most people, most liquor is like what 15 or so, $20 a bottle or whatever. That his is
Yeah.
like 30.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a little bit more. I think it's technically like a small batch type thing. He has like a lot of tequilas. There's like he has like the clear, the regular, and then there's like a darker one that I want to try that one. That one's a little more expensive. I think that one's like
Yeah.
it's like aged longer or something like that.
Yeah, I think actually the last time I had tequila, I can't remember the brand, but it was at my sister's wedding in like 2020 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so like his family has like money or whatever.
Right.
So he brought a fucking big old like bottle of like old ass tequila,
Mm-hmm.
like aged, and we all fucking poured it, took a shot, dude. That was probably the best fucking tequila I've ever
Mm-hmm.
had. It was so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, like if this shit wasn't that expensive, I'd fucking
Right.
get this right here.
Yeah.
But
Once you get
god
to like
damn.
age for like an actual like decent bit of time, it gets very expensive. Um, I saw a meme. I
Yeah.
saw a meme the other day that these guys were like golfing or whatever, and there's like this younger aged dude. He's holding a bottle of some kind of whiskey or something, and he's just drinking straight out of it. And he goes up to it. He's like stumbling around. He's like clearly drunk. And one of the guys, hey man, what you doing over there? And he like does like a racist like Asian accent, and he's like says something. Oh, I'm just drinking this. It's the 12 year, 15 year too expensive. Something like that.
There was a video I saw. I'll have to see if I can fucking find it again, but
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know what I think this dude was just trying to like do it as a challenge or whatever, but he got like one of those big old fucking bottles of Jack Daniels
Mm-hmm.
and he chugged the entire fucking thing in one go.
Nah.
And then like just burped and then fucking threw the bottle away and I'm like,
And then the
how are you
camera
not
cuts, and then he
dead?
throws up.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you not dead right now with like just fucking like
Alcoholics are
dude,
built different,
that's
bro.
so much. Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Dude,
don't.
I got a burn to it, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't fuck around like that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'd probably say like when I make like my normal kind of drinks that are like liquor and like a mixer or whatever. I probably pour them a little heavier than I'd say most like the average person would.
yeah.
But like I don't like I usually will make one or maybe two depending on how I'm feeling. Like that's probably the only one I have tonight. Uh, I didn't really pour it that heavy, like because I didn't buy the bottle, so I respect I didn't do that. But I mean, I still you'll put a decent bit in there, you know.
Yeah.
This would probably be a very expensive drink at a bar. Fucking got $20 of
Freaking
Crown Royal in that bitch.
shit. Yeah, and I guess there's like a whole thing with like an etiquette or whatever to drinking like old whiskey or some shit like that. Because
So
so like Matt
yeah.
Mercer, like
Hmm.
whenever they did their Talk Machina show or whatever, I think the dude's name was Brian or whatever, and he brought like an aged
Right.
fucking whiskey, and they all poured it, and the entire chat was saying, "Don't mix it with anything. You can't do that with that shit. Don't
Right.
do it." Because you want to get the actual flavor of it. Don't put like ice cubes in it, or else it'll water it
So
down. That type of
well,
shit, right?
actually, so there's because I watch some like one of the channels I watch is this channel called Whiskey Tribe. These guys who make whiskey and alcohol, and and I've always been like big into alcohol, so I watch like all kinds of YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So there actually is. So typically, when it comes to the nice whiskeys, the majority of people say like you should drink it straight for one. But ice is okay because actually, when the ice melts, it dilutes it and it changes how it tastes. That's like an actual thing.
Okay.
Like you get different notes and stuff when it's a little diluted or whatever. So that is like a thing. Some people, I'm sure there are people who are like purists who think they're like better, or like, oh, I don't put no ice or nothing. I drink it straight. But ice is fine.
Yeah.
But and this is something that's kind of controversial. There's this guy who has a whiskey company that I don't remember what the name of it was, but it's like a $200 bottle. Like it's not cheap shit. It's not like super expensive. Like because they have a Total Wine warehouse by where I live, and they have
Hmm.
glass cases with like up. I've seen bottles as expensive as like $5,000 of alcohol. So they have like expensive shit there that you can get. But his is like a little more commonly available. It's like $200, $250 or whatever. And he goes, I don't care what nobody says. My favorite way to drink whiskey is with some Diet Coke in it, and that's how I drink. And like he literally has like a fresh bottle of his like $200 whiskey, pours it with some ice, and then tops off with some Diet Coke, and like you drink it how the fuck you want to drink it. So I mean
There
that's
you go.
like yeah,
There you go.
it's kind of like an elitist like. I mean, as gamers,
Yeah.
we should be familiar with this kind of culture. It's gatekeeping. It's what it is.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
I know that shit all too well, being a part of, the gaming community and the metal community with the music and shit like that. Fuck,
right.
dude, it is. God, dude. I mean, well, I guess you could really say that like every community has its fucking
Yeah,
elitist,
there's like the elitist and the yeah.
but I
Some could
guess
be
it's just
some are better, I guess. I never really seen that so far in Warhammer so far.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is. Like, I'm sure like if I was playing games regularly or something, or I'd probably run into people. I don't really see it online though, but I'm sure there's people who are like have like super expensive armies or like uh they have like all like the Forge World like alternate models and shit, and like it's all kitted out or they got it professionally painted or whatever, and it's fucking. Which some of those like the higher end paint jobs are fucking expensive, dude. Like you're talking like single model, like normal size models are like $200 or whatever, shit like that, $300. I was scrolling
Fuck
through
that.
eBay and I saw somebody had listings for doing I guess they had already painted them and they were just selling them like once they had or whatever, and they were selling these
Oh yeah.
things like it was almost like Space Marines and stuff, but like there was like some tanks and some dreadnoughts and shit, and they had like it was like I don't remember what company they had, but it was like whatever company level 3 paint job, and like their tank was like $350 and shit like that.
Jesus.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was some very nice looking models, but that's not why I was at his seller page. He had some bots of like random like Space Marine bits that I'm kind of interested in. Maybe after I get paid, I might buy. Or just like random like shoulder pads and different power packs and some different helmets and just like random legs and shit of different like older. Some of them are like older models and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like organized like a little box. I was kind of looking at that just because uh, I watched some of these guys on YouTube that like kit bash stuff and like do like kind of custom one off stuff, and because they've been doing it for a long time and they've probably been doing it for a long time. They have like these like really nice collections of just like random like extra bits and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, I should probably look on eBay see if people are selling that. And some people are. It's kind of hard to dig through because there's some people what they do as far as bits is I guess and I guess you can make money doing this, I guess, because there's a lot of people who do it. They'll take the kit, like this is the kit of whatever model it is, and they'll have pictures of all the pieces, and you pick and choose what pieces you want out of like a full kit. So that's like people who maybe, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I guess like if you wanted like, from what I understand, some not all kits come with enough weapon options to give like your whole squad like the same gun or whatever. Sometimes it's like there's like
Yeah.
that, or if maybe if like I don't know if some of the Space Marine ones do, where you have like two sets of arms and shit. So I'm sure people are probably going and buying like extra bodies and stuff instead of buying like full kits again and
Oh
shit like
yeah.
that. Or like molded special shoulder pads and helmets and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was looking at it because like I've been kind of thinking like one of the cool things of the lore that I kind of like is that a lot of this there's in the lore like especially during the Horus Heresy that nowadays in 40k it was common for Space Marines to have mismatched armor. Like there's like a bunch of different marks of armor, but it was common because like there was a big civil war going on. It was hard to get gear. They would mix and match, and a lot of the marks are somewhat compatible with each other in the lore. They are. So I was like thinking it'd be
Yeah.
cool to buy like a bunch of like random, just old and from just various decades of Warhammer, just like different things, and just mix and match them. Like maybe have one with like a random like Mark III shoulder pad and a Mark 6 legs, or a Mark 7 back or whatever. Just like
That'd be fucking.
just like random
That'd be
to make them more unique and stuff. Because when you get like a bunch of like the same squads, they all kind of look the same. So like, which I mean, I did buy like some of the Blood Angels upgrade kits, so I can
Mhm.
give some random ones like nicer shoulder pads, and a couple of them like a nicer helmet or something. But it'd be nice to have like just like a bunch of just random cool shit. So I might buy
Yeah.
that. Speaking of buying Warhammer though, Commander Dante goes for pre-order tomorrow,
Oh shit.
and I don't have the money to get him until Tuesday, so hopefully he doesn't sell out.
God, yeah, that's such a fucking hit or miss too.
I mean, I guess it depends on how much they make of him or how many pre-orders they have available. Because I mean, yeah, it's like a really big popular character, and so there's gonna be, and it's a really nice model. So there's gonna be the people who buy it just to have it and just to paint it. Uh, but it's also like it's like it's the lead, like the HQ unit of one faction of Space Marines. It's a very popular faction of Space Marines, but it's one small percentage of the whole Warhammer people be able to actually use it.
Yeah,
And I don't have a Commander Doctor. I don't have the old one, so it'd be nice to get the new one.
yeah,
I have no idea how much he's going to be. I mean, a lot of the characters are usually around like $30 for like the normal size Space Marines. He's bigger, so I have a feeling he's gonna be like 40, $50. I hope he's not much more than that. I mean, because then he's getting to where he's like costing as much as like some other stuff. I mean, I can't like yeah, I only never need one of him, but
yeah, yeah. Shit, dude.
mm-hmm.
Fuck. Yeah, I need to. Fuck, I don't know, man. There's so much I want to do with Warhammer.
You should start by
So
putting together the fucking models behind you.
I need to fucking get some brushes, and I've already got the glue and some of the stuff waiting in the cart on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for fucking money to come in and
Yeah,
fucking be like,
I mean, I'd
I can
definitely
get.
say go ahead and get the glue, like just use getting so that way you could at least because I think you already got like clippers and shit like that,
Yeah, I already got those.
so you could
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I can easily just fucking glue everything together and just
Yeah,
kind of set them off to the side until I can get the
and then you could
brushes.
like at least like look at them and like see them and like we could potentially play and try play and learn to play with them unpainted. Um, the only thing is that which is like a thing with mine is a lot of mine, most of them are mostly assembled, not fully assembled, because some of them the poses it's easier to paint them. I find with like if you keep like an arm off or like with these the guys I still have up here that I've been needing to paint, their helmets are yellow and not red, so and I wanted to
Uh,
prime them white because I'm using the contrast paint, which is kind of thinner. Uh, so I kept them separately, so I could do them separately from the rest to make it easier. So I'm not like trying to paint like in the like the neck cavity behind them and around the helmet, getting like black and red all over it.
yeah,
So like there's shit like that to think about. Um, but I mean most people fully assemble them, so like you're not gonna be getting into new territory if you just go ahead and fully assemble them and shit.
yeah, yeah. That and I was kind of surprised the Black Templar book really isn't that expensive. Like as of late, it's been like on sale for like a little over $20.
So you have to remember it's a supplement
Not the
codex.
main.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just adding stuff. Also, we're at the like literally the end of ninth edition,
yeah.
and it's going to be
Which I
completely.
wonder if they're gonna. Oh wait, because they're doing all the fucking codex shit online for free,
Yeah, because
aren't they?
they're changing the rules so much and how the data sheets work that
Yeah,
they're just all previous ones are just unusable. Uh, so they're gonna make the first version of them free until the codex comes out,
right.
which will update it. Which would when it comes to Space Marine chapters, every edition they don't do them for all of them. They only do like a handful of them.
Yeah,
And I guess depending on how popular this edition is and how well it goes, they might do like a second wave like in a couple years. Like there'll be a couple that come out right away, which
yeah,
obviously like it's probably going to be like Dark Angels and Blood Angels because they're getting new shit. Um,
yeah,
but like Black Templars, I mean, they just had like a big range update this last edition, so they might not necessarily get a new book. With this
yeah,
one, they might choose like I don't know, they might pick one of the ones that had one in eighth edition that didn't get one this time, and maybe another one to like that hasn't had one in a while or something, or
yeah,
maybe it just depends on what they want to do and shit like that. If they
yeah,
or if they got plans for new models or something.
yeah. Because I was gonna say, I mean, fucking Black Templars were like one of the main fucking go-tos for ninth edition when it came to
Yeah,
like space
yeah, just
shit.
because they had a bunch of new shit.
Yeah,
So that's like Dark Angels is like right now at the end of the edition. That's like a big one because they just got well, Lionel Johnson is getting, he's going for pre-order Saturday as well. Uh, so he's gonna be coming out. And they just got like another like character or two, got new models. So like they got some new stuff. So like they're and they might like Blood Angels, they might get some more updates coming in the coming months and year or two.
Yeah.
So the Angels, the Dark and Blood Angels, are kind of like the next ones to get the updates, probably.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
mean, Blood Angels have a couple units that need it bad.
Yeah.
Commander Dante was one of them.
Yeah. I can't lie. I mean, once I get my fucking Black Templar shit set up though,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I would like to fucking do like a Xeno race instead next,
Mm-hmm.
but with how them fucking the what is it, Dark Templars or whatever, or the
What?
uh uh
You went on a little going a little robot there. Oh no.
fuck is the name of them? That's getting the
Oh,
lion
Dark
back.
Angels.
Dark Angels. That's it. Yeah. So I was like, maybe some of them
Mm-hmm.
probably.
Yeah, they have a couple
Uh,
cool units because kind of like Blood Angels, they have like they almost have like two specialty units kind of under them, like specialty sub factions. Like the Blood Angels have
yeah.
the Death Company, which is the all black armor guys, and then they have like the Sanguinary Guard, the guys in all gold. Uh, Dark Angels have Deathwing, which is a bone white armor, and that's the game. I think you have it on PlayStation. Space Hulk Deathwing.
Faithful.
Yeah, that's it's them. Like it's their Terminators. Like they have. I know they have some specific units like modeled for them, and they have another sub
Yeah.
faction called Ravenwing, which is like I want to say it's like
Yeah.
bike units and they're in all black or something like that. I don't really know too much about them. Um, so they have like some like sub factions. Like some of it's weird. Some of the more expanded upon chapters have shit like that, but then other ones like just don't. Like as far as I'm
Yeah.
aware, like the White Scars don't really have nothing like that, or like the Ultramarines don't. I mean, I know they have a thing with like what's the first company Marines are like the higher rank and like the older of the Ultramarines, and they have like the ones with white helmets and shit,
Yeah.
and that's like what their Terminators are. That's what was in the trailer was like the white helmeted Terminators, the blue armor. That was their first company Marines. Um, yeah, some of them. I mean, what you could always do. I mean, if you wanted to kind of have some of both, is just have like kill teams. I mean, all most of the kill teams are all like generic units. So like,
Yeah.
and actually with I have to wait until like the full rules come out or like reread some of the rules. I think they're supposed to be doing like a every couple of days they've been posting articles on the community site with like expanding upon like some of the rule changes, and they talked about building armies, and I think I'm a little confused about how like sub factions work now. So there's a
Yeah.
chance like you might be able to at least. Oh, I know like they did. So they said that the color of the models don't matter anymore. Like that actually was like a rule. Like if you were to go play like a Warhammer store,
Yeah.
if you were playing Blood Angels, they didn't have to be like a specific shade of red, but they had to be like appropriate Blood Angels colors, or like painted like one of the sub factions or what
Yeah.
of the chapters. But I think they said like that doesn't really matter anymore. I don't think they took that rule out. So I think there was actually like a rule that like if they were all painted matching, you got like some type of in game buff or something.
Oh
But
yeah.
they took that out. That's like not a thing no more. So you I mean you might potentially be able to definitely like with us playing like if some of your infantry's painted Black Templars and some of your infantry's painted Dark Angels. I mean you probably should probably only be playing like the characters from one at a time. But I mean
Right.
I wouldn't care if like you had like fucking intercessors that were some that were one color, some that were another.
Yeah. I think I would probably try to, unless it was like a. I think the only time I would really mix like factions is if it would like lore wise make sense.
I mean, Space
like
Marines
Ultramarine.
working together do. Like, it just does. Like,
Yeah.
the lore wise, that makes sense. It also makes sense for them to fight each other. This shit happens all the time. Like,
Oh
loyalist
yeah.
ones fighting each other and working together. Like, there's like novels where it's like, there's a squad of Space Marines, and it's like, it's literally like 5 Space Marines, and each one's from a different chapter.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I think I just would want the consistency
yeah.
mainly.
One thing that you could do, which would visually probably work, is if you were to paint your Dark Angels in their Heresy color scheme, which is black armor. Then and you should, which is it would suck to have to paint these, but they had black armor and they often had like red and yellow checkered patterns on certain spots. It was like various spots, like on like the shin or like a shoulder pad or whatever. And so you could do that, so you'd be able to visually tell, like, hey, these are all like once painted for Dark Angels, but it's all Heresy colored.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I know. I think it was a while back. I was watching a video of a dude who was just starting out as well, and he ended up getting some Ultramarines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in the comments was somebody in the comments was just like, paint them red so they can move faster. And I was like, bro, is that really a fucking rule? And I
For
started
orcs.
going through it, and I'm like, holy shit, it is. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, orcs. Red's the fastest color. I want to say purple is the stealthiest. And there's like a
Hmm.
couple other colors and like shit like that where it's like, if you paint your vehicle this color, it's all in their lore of how, because each different like kind of factions all kind of have like a version of like psychers and like how they work or whatever, and like psychic abilities and shit. And
Yeah.
theirs is expressed through the Wa and their belief in shit. So like it's like my favorite explanation of it was like you could have like a group of orcs in like a car driving somewhere, and it runs out of gas. And the boss is like, I told you to fucking fuel it up. And he's like, I did. I 100% guaranteed I fueled it up. And they look back and it's full.
Bro.
Or like if their gun
Yeah, because I
jams
was.
and they're like, no, it works. Trust me, it works. And they hit it and then it works.
Yep. Yeah, because so at work we actually, so I downloaded the game on my phone, Warhammer Tacticus, the mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really fucking fun. So like I come in that day and it's like slow as fuck, and I'm playing on it, and my friend or coworker was just like, "Oh my god, is that Warhammer?" I was like, "Yeah, you gonna download it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm downloading it right now." So then we started playing. Then another coworker saw us playing it, and he's like, "That looks fucking cool." So he started playing it.
Hell yeah.
And then Easter, I'm sitting there and it was just me and the other guy fucking just like bullshitting, slowest fucking day ever. So I brought Lord of the Rings during the read and shit.
Nice.
And I was like, "Hey, have you tried this game?" And he's like, "What the fuck is it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, me, him, and him are all fucking playing." And he's like, "Oh, bet, dude." So
Nice.
I literally like got a quarter of the fucking store
Playing
and
the
their
Warhammer. Yeah.
foot in the door and they're playing Warhammer.
Nice.
And so one of them, he's like really big into like lore, like with like the
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls shit and Elden Ring and Elder Scrolls and shit. And I was like, well, if you like lore, you'll fucking love Warhammer, my guy. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, really? I was like, yeah. So and then I went on about the orcs and I was telling him about that, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, yeah, that's an actual thing. And he's like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah. And did you know there's walking churches with massive guns? He's
Yeah.
like, he's like, dude, that sounds fucking awesome. I'm like, it is, my man.
Yeah.
It is.
It's fucking, and like the fucking orcs, man. They're a fungus. Like they're not like even like mammals or like people. They're a fungus.
Yeah,
And like
they're
that's why they're a
fucking
problem, because if they get on your earth, they can spread their spores, and it takes like decades or centuries to clear them out.
god. That's such a hell of a twist for the orcs, dude. They just
Hmm.
make them a fucking
Well,
spore. Or
and like and then the thing is like getting to the origin of the orcs is even wilder, because it all has to. It's like this like thing with they're kind of tied to the origin of the Necrons too. So the Necrons, when they were not robots and people, the Necron tier, there's like this war going on like before humanity was even a thing, like the war between heaven and earth or something like that, some shit like that, where they were fighting these like primordial like godlike beings, and I think the Eldar were involved or something like that, and it was like this endless war that just never ended, and so the Silent King made a deal with one of the gods that I guess was like a traitor god or something like that, that if to make these people like pretty much immortal, like have ultimate power, like that would beat the other gods or whatever, and that's how they became the
Yeah.
Necrons, and they all became drones and became robots and shit. Well, the other side was like, well, we need to fucking figure something out to fucking fight these guys, so they just created this fungus that became orcs. I think there's more to it, obviously, but that's like the gist of it.
We'll stick the fungus on them.
Yeah, we'll stick the fungus on them. The holy wall.
Jeez,
Yeah,
the holy God, dude. Orcs wild out, man.
I
They're
know.
fucking
It's one of those things where
God.
it's like
They're so wacky, but they're so cool.
I think about like all the factions, and it's like everyone like they're not one that I always think about. Is like one that I want to like have or play, and then I'll like
Yeah,
scroll through their models or like think about their lore, and I'm like, damn, that'd be pretty fun.
yeah, really.
I remember I
Like,
told Ray that like that was when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like, dude, you should be an orc player. You should play orcs. He's like, I'm an orc player. And I'm like, yeah, you're an orc player.
I could see that. Dude, fuck. Yeah, I could see if I would say if Lurie did it, he would probably go for like the Tau or Eldari or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
maybe. Yeah, I like the
I don't know
Eldari.
why. I just see him with
I could
those
also see him
factions.
being like the orcs because he's like, oh, it's like Scoos, dude. Oh, fucking orcs.
That too. That was another thing. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, there's one of those ones that like he's kind of a wild card. Like you never really know what his opinion on something's going to be. Like
He's
he
kind of the definition of
he has some hot
never
takes.
let him know you're next to.
He has some hot takes every once in a while. He'll say some wild shit. So you just never know what he could be. I mean, he could think the fucking admech are cool for all we know. I mean, I told him that bit of lore earlier today. I don't know if you read it about the chicken walkers.
Yeah, the chicken walkers. Yep.
Yeah, that the one guy who knew how to turn them back on fucking died, and so no one knows how to turn them back on. So they just never turn them off. They leave them running the whole time. They just corral them into a pin and just tie them up and hope they're there next time they need them.
Fucking so that actually made me fucking like talking about Lurie made me think of a fucking discussion I just had with Michael today
Oh yeah.
about Lurie. And he was like, bro, if fucking Lurie keeps going on with his shit, he's gonna get fucking jumped in by the fucking party. And I'm like, yeah, he probably will. He goes like, dude, he does some dumb shit. And he goes, but I think it'll be Glynn that does the fucking first hit with him doing his racist elf shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you literally, I was like, did you watch the fucking like
Hmm.
last podcast episode? And he's like, no. And I was like, dude, we talked about all of that to the fucking T.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get with him and fucking talk him about it because it doesn't make sense with his backstory as to why he's racist. It just doesn't make sense. And
Could just be a
I'm
character
gonna
flaw.
give him like, yeah, just like I don't know. That's the fucking weirdest part because it's like he like I could see him having like a hate for the Drows with his backstory because the
Hmm.
being made by dwarves and then the dwarves being in a war with the Drow and shit like that. But
Other than that, it don't make
at the
sense.
same time, he was like, I want my character to be willing to help people. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay. So, but then he started going on about the racist shit, and I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm like, wait, what?
Old OB3 Kobe.
OB3 Kobe. Fucking.
Fucking goddamn.
God,
I'm gonna
dude.
be making fucking Kobe Bryant jokes about him. I swear to God.
I would fucking. I hope somebody does.
I
Like,
think I
I
did when
literally
we
sit here
played.
just died in the game waiting for this shit.
I think I'm pretty sure I said something like I said Brian or something like once or twice when we were playing. Rest in peace.
Fucking trips and falls. Oh, Kobe.
Fucking that
Oh
goofy
my
Cooper,
god, yeah.
man.
God, man. Such a fucking cast of characters in our D&D campaign now. God, dude.
Yeah, I
Fucking.
mean that's what you
You're
want.
about to.
You always want that, man.
Yeah, fucking, you're about the only normal one. Other than, well, I guess Michael's halfling makes sense. I mean, it's just a halfling. I
Yeah,
mean,
but then you have to you add in the Michael
the
Jackson from South
barbarian.
Park voice
Yeah,
with the fact that he's a
yeah.
halfling barbarian, which is fucking hilarious, and then it all comes together. Oh, that's
God.
ignorant. That's ignorant. And he's like 3 feet tall and like jacked.
Fucking just tiny ass, like, swole fucking muscles. Yeah, and then, God, dude, I still, like, blows my fucking mind that Ray was just like, yeah, my character's 6'7".
Oh, by the way, it's Hellboy.
And I'm like, bro, is Hellboy even that tall? Like,
He might be. He's pretty big. It's a pretty big
hold
dude.
up, let me Google this shit real fast. I'm like,
I don't think Ron
I don't know
Perlman's that
why.
tall, but I think Hellboy is.
How tall?
It's
Oh
Hellboy.
boy.
Yeah, I'm hoping this weekend I can get some good work
He's
on.
actually, he made him shorter. Hellboy's 7 feet tall.
Damn. God damn.
Hellboy, a 7 foot tall red behemoth with file down horns and an oversized rocky right hand. Yep.
It is
God
funny that
damn,
like
dude. Seven...
one of the characters is fucking Hellboy.
Yeah. I remember him bringing that up, and then like he was like, "Yeah, I want to be like Hellboy," and I'm like, "That's interesting."
Well, and what's funny
It's
is
like,
years ago, this was like forever ago. Like he made a like he didn't like buy one, but he like designed what's it called, Hero Forge. He designed like a
yeah,
Hellboy like D&D kind of mini. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna be like, I even he posted a picture. And I even said like, oh, wait, you're gonna be like fucking Hellboy as a character, like fucking do something original or whatever. And then fast forward to today, and yeah, he's doing Hellboy.
yep.
I mean, hey,
Hey man,
fucking
if it works, it works. I mean, he's got a lot of backstory written out for it to where it makes sense. So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not complaining. Um, trying to think who has the least amount, and I think it might. I think it's Jordan. I think Jordan has the least amount of backstory
Yeah,
out of every.
probably.
Which I mean is, I mean it's fine. I mean it's a druid. I mean they live out in the woods
Yeah, he's a little
doing druid
kobold
shit.
druid doing some kobold.
Yeah,
He's a little Pokemon looking dude.
yeah. Pretty. I guess that's like a pretty self-explanatory right there. Kobold druid. Yeah. Okay, you're out in the woods. You're from
Yeah.
the woods, pretty much.
Uh,
But yeah.
I've been kind of moving to another thing. Star Wars. I've been thinking about Star Wars a lot
Yeah.
recently.
Yes, I have. Yes, and I have.
I've all caught up as of today with Mandalorian. I think season finale's next, like this coming week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. We've seen a lot more Mandalorians in this season, which is pretty sweet. It's always cool. And actually, there's one that I noticed that it's just one of the background ones for the they're not called, they don't really have a name, but it's like the cult ones that the Mando's part of. That his armor's like paint scheme, I recognized it immediately. It's Boba Fett from the cartoon from the Christmas special, where it's like he has like a weird like ivory colored chest and like a kind of weird blue helmet. I recognized it immediately. Like I was like, that's the fucking. It's like the stars aligned, and this it's like the council of like Jedi nerds, Star Wars nerds, like gave me the knowledge that I needed. It's fucking
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. I did think it was pretty fucking funny. It wasn't Mandalorian, but it was the little conference that they had,
Mm-hmm.
and they announced like three new movies or three new films
Mm-hmm.
for the next three films or whatever, and one of them was just like, yeah, one of them's gonna be kind of exploring the not necessarily the origins, but like the beginning of when people found out about the Force, pretty much.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's a very interesting take. And I guess, like from to an extent, kind of like biblical almost.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I, I want to say there's something in the expanded universe about that in Legends. I know that they
There's got
have the origin of lightsabers, like where they come from. That's like a pre Old Republic thing. During like
yeah.
this is like the first like Jedi Mandalorian war or whatever. It's like this is like old lore where the lightsabers weren't self powered. They had a cord that came down to a power pack that they wore on their waist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they
Yep.
did it. And that was like the pre like that's like old thousands of years ago lore. I used to be so deep into that shit, dude. Like
Dude,
and like
I used to fucking go on my free days and just watch fucking
like lore
Star
videos and
Wars.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mainly watched the Star Wars Theory. He fucking does.
I
He
think I
has
did
so many.
him. Eckhart's Ladder, I think, is another one. There's like one or two other ones that I used to watch a lot of. I think Eckhart's the one
Yeah,
that
that's
his pictures the Doge in an Imperial officer uniform.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was funny as fuck though. Like during the conference, they're now like I guess it was like at the very beginning. They're announcing everybody coming out on stage
Hmm.
and they're cheering, and then they announce Kathleen and she walks out and it was dead fucking silence.
Yeah, I was kind of joking to myself the other day because I was like a bunch of episodes behind, so I watched yesterday I watched like two or three in a row, and I was kind of laughing to myself like because Disney Plus it's weird. It doesn't always like Netflix and stuff when the credits like once the credits start, it goes to like hey loading next episode in so many seconds. Disney Plus doesn't always do that for whatever reason, and so sometimes you
Yeah.
see like a good bit of the credits before like I get my controller back on to fast forward or go to the next episode, and when it's doing the executive producer credits and producer credits for The Mandalorian
Mhm.
well, first off, it shows like who directed the episode, like the top build cast, like the guest stars, like with Jack Black and Lizzo were in it. And then it'll have like the writers, which is usually Dave Filoni and or Jon Favreau, and they're like the regular producers, like the executive producers of the show, like the hands-on ones. They're but there's other executive producers, being Kathleen Kennedy and this other dude that works for Disney, and it always is Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, executive producer. Next one, then it's Kathleen Kennedy, another dude. I'm like, yeah, y'all are fucking second place. Get your own fucking keep your dirty names away from our Lord and Savior, Dave Filoni. He's the Jesus Christ of Star Wars. I swear to God, he's the second coming of the Messiah.
Dude, honestly though, like yeah, he's been doing a lot of good work as of late.
I mean,
Like
to be honest, he's fucking been keeping Star Wars alive ever since we're
him and
like after because he had the Clone Wars that kept Star Wars. That was the only thing new in Star Wars other than like some like books and comics and shit and some couple of games for years. That was like the only like other thing. Like the only
yeah,
other
I would
big
say
thing was the Lego Star Wars games at that time period,
yeah,
and like
yeah, that is
Force Unleashed
true.
or something like that. Like, but like
I mean, I guess like the next person I would consider like just under him would be like Jon Favreau.
yeah, because he's a fucking good writer and a good producer.
He he actually like puts like passion into like his work. I mean, if you look at like the fucking Marvel series,
Hmm.
for example, like I mean that shit was so well done, dude.
Hmm.
Like so fucking well done.
Even the
And then I think he's doing Mandalorian, isn't he?
yeah, he's attached to Mandalorian and some other Star Wars stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
and like even like his stuff that he's done on his own, like it's fucking good shit. Like he did that
Yeah.
movie Chef or whatever and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Oh, dude, me and Michael watched that thing and it was gonna be like a comedy. Dude, we were blown away with how good
I
like it
haven't
actually
actually
was.
seen the whole movie. I need to. It's one of those movies that like I know it's like a fucking good, great movie. I need to sit down and watch. I just haven't.
Oh
It's
my
on the
God.
list. Um, but like, fucking Dave Filoni really is like the Jesus Christ of Star Wars, man. I swear to God.
Yeah, he really is though. I mean,
Because
fuck, dude. I
he
mean,
fuck
he's been doing Star Wars for how fucking long now? Like,
he I don't I don't remember when he came on, but he sometime I think it was like right after the prequels. Like his because he was like he grew up on Star Wars, whatever. That was like his favorite thing, and that's what he wanted to do was work on Star Wars. He made his way working for Lucasfilm, working. He ended up like working his way up and working directly under George Lucas. He was basically his like apprentice or whatever. Uh, and like then he got the became like the head of the show, the Clone Wars, and like was like leading that. And as which when you watch if you go and watch Clone Wars, like just like episode 1 all the way to like the end, first season or so is a little rough because it's like, okay, this is like a kid's Cartoon Network like cartoon or whatever. It's very episodic. There's a lot of goofy scenes. Like there are like a lot of episodes and stuff that's unnecessary with like Jar Jar as like a main character, which I'm not sure I like Jar Jar. And that's actually speaking of another Mandalorian cameo. Um,
yeah, buddy.
he those episodes weren't not good, but it gets like this as the storylines get deeper and he gets, I guess, like he's able to do more with what he wants. It just gets so much better, and like I wish they would have continued it. Because like some of the stuff they were working on that they never got to finish was pretty cool. Like how Boba Fett got the dent in his helmet from Cad Bane and shit. Like they were working on that episode. There's like pre animation you could find online of it. Uh, but I mean, the final season was really good when they were able to do that and bring it back. I never really got
Yeah.
into Rebels because he did that too. But that was like that was what happened was when Disney bought Star Wars, they kind of, all right, Clone Wars, you're done, but you made Star Wars popular and like really good, so you're gonna do our show, Rebels, and it's gonna be Disneyfied. I'm funny to hear there are like some good shit in it, and it's like there's moments where like he still shines through, but the
Yeah.
beginning of
I
that's
mean, I
pretty
think
Disney.
yeah. Only thing I really gave a fuck about watching through Rebels. Well, I didn't even really watch this show
Mm-hmm.
or really Clone Wars. Well, I'd say I watched like a few episodes of Clone Wars every now and then, but like the main thing that I wanted to see was the final like showdown and confrontation of Maul and
Yeah,
Obi-Wan. And they did that one really fucking well.
yeah,
Like really well. And I was like really surprised. I was like, "Damn, dude, like
yeah. I think that was like one
that
of
was
the
it."
last things he got to do before that show ended. I want to say that's like towards like the final season or something like that.
Yeah.
Because like they I want to say in Clone Wars, like they kind of left it open that he's still alive, but then like I guess like when Disney took over, they kind of realized that because they grandfathered Clone Wars in that it's canon, because it was still going on at the time, and that kind of left like an open thing of like Darth Maul's like out there, like, and they were going to do more stuff with him. I'm hoping that at some point they bring that back because
Yeah.
he was teased at the end of Solo,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
some point between
That was a really badass cameo that they kind of just threw in there,
yeah.
like as like a little fucking twist on the story, and you're like, what the fuck?
He's like a fucking pirate lord or fucking whatever. Like he's like
Yeah,
a
the
mafia leader or gang lord or something like that.
like what is it, the Crimson Dawn or something like
Yeah.
that?
But then somewhere between there and he loses everything again because that's kind of his story. Is that he gets all his power then loses everything, and then he's how we see him in Rebels, which is like kind of decrepit and old and like kind of almost losing his mind again.
Yeah. Yeah, the part that was like really gut wrenching was just like after he fucking like tagged Maul and then like held him in his arms, and then they had that little
Yeah.
fucking talk about Luke being the chosen one and shit like that, and then he just fucking faded away, and I was like, damn, dude, like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, like that was.
Peep.
I'm glad they didn't like drag out like a long ass fight
Yeah.
because That was
No,
it.
because
We just spent.
I mean the story makes sense. It's they basically face off again like they did in episode one, and it's Obi-Wan now is much more wiser and trained. He just one strike, samurai
Yeah.
style, takes him out. Um, which kind of go back to Darth Maul. There's some stuff in Mandalorian that I mean I'm thinking he might not come up in it, but an effect that he had on the world will, I think. So in the Clone Wars show, at some point he takes over Mandalore and becomes like the Grand Mando or whatever, and has the dark saber. And there's a faction of the Death. I think I forget what they're called. Like I think it's Death Watch is like the warlike cult that was exiled to the moon. That's what that the
Something like
Mandalorian
that.
is part of. That this is long before the Mandalorian showed up. Din Djarin showed up, but they some of them stayed under Darth Maul and like changed their helmets to have like horns and like painted their armor red and black and stuff. And there's now two characters that kind of have some horns in their helmet. Uh,
Shit, really?
yeah, there's that's like a big fan theory about the armorer. I don't know if you're familiar with the armorer character, the female Mandalorian with the gold helmet who makes the armor and stuff. She has like a
Yeah.
couple little horns on her helmet, so people suspect that she was around during that time and was stayed under Darth Maul. And then after that, all fell apart, left, and but she still has her helmet that has the horns on it. And then this is kind of a spoiler for what's going on right now, but I won't say who has it, but somebody has some new Mandalorian armor that is. It might not be. I think it could be. I don't. They didn't even explain it. I think just for cool aesthetics, they have an all black and red accented Mandalorian helmet with like much bigger, pronounced horns on it. They showed who it is. It's not Darth Maul, but it could be that maybe he found that helmet and kept it. This person found it and took that one because he thought it was cool, or it's just a coincidence, or maybe Darth Maul is involved somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, he might not be alive at this point. Because yeah, no, he wouldn't be alive because Mandalorian is after Revenge of the Sith. I mean, yeah, Revenge of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi. Is that the
Yeah.
Return of
Return
the
of the
Jedi?
Jedi.
They're actually starting to do something which I kind of started to kind of piece together. They're starting to actually bridge the gap to the First Order showing up. They kind of teased
Oh
it.
yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fuck. Yeah. God damn, that was such a fucking like massive plot hole for the longest fucking time, and I think it still is until they actually like resolve it
like where
with
they come
whatever.
from.
Yeah, with like how it got built up all of a sudden, even though the New
No,
Republic was.
they explained what it was. I mean, they it's like very minorly explained, but basically, like after the Empire, like when the Death Star 2 blew up and all that, and like the Emperor was killed and all that kind of stuff, there were
Yeah.
still hundreds of fleets scattered all around the fucking universe,
Oh
like
yeah.
Imperial fleets. They became scattered, and it's all like warlords and like all like the higher generals and stuff, kind of keep control of their fleet in their region, or try to at least. But it's all like scattered, and that's who Giancarlo Esposito's character Moff Gideon is in The Mandalorian. He was a local warlord who still has control after the Empire fell. And that's where they actually they showed what's his name Crux from the First Order from Force Awakens. He was like the general, like the leader of that unit or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
He's in it. And he's like an Imperial officer because they showed like a meeting of a bunch of the different Imperial officer warlords all having like a secret meeting. Uh, and he's one of them. And they're starting to like tease some of the stuff. Like they showed some these guys that are you remember what episode was it? The one which one, I don't remember which one it was. One of the newer ones where Ray and Kylo were fighting all those dudes in the fucking sleek red armor that had like not lightsabers but like they could fight with against lightsabers. So some of those guys kind of showed up. They're like the new version of the Imperial Guards.
Okay.
But you
Yeah.
remember that there's like
Yeah, like,
that scene where like they're fighting him on like the bridge, and like one of them has like fucking like one of them has like a spear, one some of them have a sword or like two daggers and shit like that. They each have like kind
Yeah.
of unique, slightly different armor and slightly different weapons. And they're just getting fucking wrecked by Kylo and Rey. It did like a couple of those guys show up in the most recent episode of Mandalorian. So they're starting to like
Mm.
bridge the gap. I mean, I don't know year wise like where it takes place. It might be intentionally ambiguous. That just gives them more room to play with, but
Yeah.
it's definitely some years before, several, maybe even like a decade or two, couple decades, because uh, Luke in the Mandalorian is like not much older than he was in Return of the Jedi, only so many years older. Whereas he's not old man Luke like in the movies,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Damn. I wonder.
unless like humans in Star Wars age like that because fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's only like maybe 10 years from being Alec Guinness.
Yeah. I mean,
From going from
yeah.
fucking however old Ewan McGregor is to a fucking like 80-year-old man. That's only like 10 years
Yeah.
away.
Oh my god. There were so many memes about that. That was like, damn, that final fucking fight with Vader really hit Obi or hit Ben real hard, huh?
Yeah, he fucking
I was
my man's
like,
got
yeah, shit.
fucking some shit, man. That's like always the thing is like I think people like I think I remember that being like a thing like not that long after Revenge of the Sith where people were like doing the math on like Ewan McGregor to like how many years after like because in Revenge of the Sith Luke and Leia are born. Well,
Yeah.
fucking New Hope's 18 years later, and it's like, Ian McGregor's like not that old, and then the fucking 20 years in the future, he shouldn't be as old as Alec Guinness.
I mean, well, shit. He was only like early 30s, I think, whenever
Let's see
he was
how old
doing
Alec
that.
Guinness was when he was in Star Wars.
Dude, I think he was like pushing like fucking 70. He was old, man. He was
Alec Guinness in
old.
Star Wars, he was 86.
Holy shit. I
Oh
was
no no no
like,
no no! Age of death, age of death, age of death.
oh, fuck. All right. I was like, damn.
I was like, fucking.
I was like, shit, he looked good for 86. Fuck. Like,
So it was 1977. He was born in 1914.
oh my god.
So what is that? He was 63.
It's like, yeah, 63.
Yeah. So now let's see. Oh, I'm fucking clicking all the wrong apps.
I think he would have, like, because I think Ewan is, like, in his 50s now.
That's what I'm looking at right now. He's 52.
52, yeah.
Actually, the age actually lines up like
Yeah.
almost perfectly because it's like rough because
Oh,
Obi-Wan Kenobi's like 10 years before. Alec Guinness just looks like an old man. I guess those years
yeah.
were rough
Yeah.
because he is
God
age
damn.
appropriate.
Yeah. Fuck, dude, I can't lie, though. Kenobi was such a good...
That was
Such
pretty
a
good.
fucking...
It was cool. It was cool. Some they had some cool shit in that.
Yeah. I think, like, hands down, that final fight... Like, I would literally, like, kind of, like, step back and was just like, Disney did that? Like,
Yeah.
dude, that was a fucking well done fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially that little fucking, like, talk that they ended up having at the end. And, like, my favorite part, though, is, like, because I think other people have talked about it, too, but, like, it was always hard differentiating Anakin and Darth Vader.
Yeah. They
And
were always
being
just
like,
so separate of characters.
yeah. So it was like whenever he fucking sliced his mask open and we saw Anakin still like fairly young and everything,
Mm-hmm.
it finally bridged that gap to where like it put it into people's heads like, hey dude, like Vader's like, I mean, he's still a young kid kind of like in this.
Yeah. So so one of the things I was thinking that I've been thinking about Star Wars of is ideal for a show, just for fun, like while I'm at work, just like listening to music, or whatever, just thinking of like a Star Wars idea. And there's another one that I've had for a long time that I've always wanted to see that we probably won't ever get, but would be fucking sick, and that is Darth Vader in the movies. Is kind of slow and clunky, and it's mostly because of the outfit. But
Yeah.
and we kind of see him at like the end of him where he's like getting old and moving slow and shit. But in the expanded universe, he's like one of the greatest warriors of all time. And so I was like one of the ideas that I had was it'd be cool either as like a movie, like a spin-off movie if they were to do those again, or as like a as like a show or whatever, like a one season kind of miniseries to do Darth Vader like right after he becomes Darth Vader, going on the hunt for like remaining Jedi and stuff, like seeing him in his prime, like fucking force sprinting across battlefields and like maybe have like part of the show told. Like my idea was like the story is going to be Darth Vader and the 501st Vader's Fist, also known as Vader's Fist, in Imperial times, hunting down the Jedi. And part of it's going to
Yeah.
be told from the perspective of the clones that are still under him, or maybe like when they start subsidizing his unit with like human soldiers because the Empire moves away from clones. Told from like part of it told from their perspective is like boots on the ground, like do like a literally like a Saving Private Ryan like style show, but in Star Wars,
Yeah.
where like in the middle of a battle instead of like a fucking tank showing up, fucking Darth Vader shows up. He's like hopping over trenches and shit, like just fucking people up. That was like,
I would fucking,
oh yeah, I would
I'd
fucking.
kill
And
that.
there is already a great name for it. There's a comic book called Vader's Quest. That's the name of the show, Vader's Quest,
Yeah.
where he's like the beginning of the show is like he like it's like shortly after he comes off the operating table is like the Emperor gives him like this is your missions to fucking go and find fucking the remaining, like these are like some key Jedi that are still on, like that they were just on different worlds, or maybe they didn't have clones with them for whatever reason, or maybe they only had a couple and they fucking killed them because they're just that badass. I had that idea, and this is the one that I've been thinking of the past couple of days, like going hard thinking on. So it's kind of like a going back to the origins of what Star Wars is, where Star Wars gets its inspiration. A big thing Star Wars gets its inspiration that George Lucas got inspiration from was from Akira Kurosawa samurai films. And so I came up with the idea for a very heavily inspired samurai style Jedi show. Because none of the shows, like they're gonna do Ahsoka, but like that's not gonna be a fucking like samurai like old like
Yeah.
1950s 60s like samurai style show. And I thought it should be so cool to have like, you know, let's take the series that's known for having magic space wizard samurai and do a show about a magic space wizard samurai.
Yeah.
and
Literally.
and like the idea was that I was kind of thinking of was let's have a guy who his kind of origin like in his past when he's like an older Jedi. It starts like right around Order 66 basically. That's an awesome starting point right before that. And have the main character be this guy that maybe when he was younger he was like more into like the fighting, it's like a well known for his combat skills, and like it was during a time of peace, so like maybe make up some shit like maybe like the Jedi just in their free time would have like sparring matches and shit, like practice matches, and he was like basically base him off of Musashi Miyamoto, the famous samurai,
Yeah.
and have it to where he's like he won more duels than any other samurai, any other Jedi, and he's like undefeated or whatever. He's like just like he was just like a badass, but he maybe felt himself going to the dark side, so he kind of stopped dueling and started training Padawans and stuff. And the reason why he didn't get killed right away in Order 66 is because he was off rule was a Padawans training at some planet, doing some emissary mission where they're like talking with like leaders of another planet, and they're like they have their own military that don't need clones and shit. And that
Yeah.
at some point, which Disney probably would never fucking do this, the clones do show up, and they just fucking kill like all the kids, except for like
Yeah.
one. And this is like a thing that I had. So they're never going to do Force Unleash. Like that shit ain't ever going to happen. Well,
They're never doing
we can borrow some stuff from it. Have one
Oh
of the
yeah.
kids maybe do the thing that Starkiller did, where he fucking like lets out a big force and vaporizes a bunch of clones, and then Darth Vader shows him like that was pretty cool. I'm gonna train. You're gonna be my fucking fuck the Inquisition. That's like the thing now, but fuck them. I'm gonna train you in secret, and you're gonna be like my right hand on fucking hunting down these Jedi, and have the Jedi Master like that's like his biggest like shame is that he's have him survive just barely, but he survives and he's like, I didn't protect all these kids and they captured what's his whoever the kid is, and like he's going on the hunt to figure out like what happened, and so it's like he becomes like a Ronin who in secret is traveling in a world where Jedi are being hunted down and looked for, and you could do like some different episodes or whatever if the show inspired by different movies, or like maybe one episode is inspired by Wolf and Cub where he like has to like guard a kid or protect a kid or whatever, or do one based off of this movie where it's a similar story and that's and that. But throughout the whole time, there's like a through line of him finding clues about. This part could take like place like a couple years later when the kid grows up. Of like there's some secret assassin that's taking out like Jedi and different like rebel leaders and stuff, and he believes it's his former students. So he's gonna go hunt him down and take him down himself. And that's kind of like the general and like the in my head like the ending is like they like he's like running somewhere and like I had this idea that the reason why he's so good at duels and stuff is because his main thing that he's really good at isn't necessarily duels. It's this force ability called battle meditation, where he could basically almost look into the future and meditate on fights that he's going to have and just be able to predict it and basically run it over and over again and train it. Well, maybe have it whenever he meditates, he has a vision of this bridge where there's somebody there that this might be where he dies, and have the end of the series be he gets to this bridge and it's his former Padawan, and they have to fight. They have to duel to the death, basically. And there's like some other ideas but basically make the kid story that he's basically a version of Starkiller brought in to fit in with the story and fit in with the current lore of Star Wars. And then you could also bring in maybe that the main guy loses his lightsaber at one point, so he has to get a new weapon. And there's this famous lightsaber that it's been referenced as like mostly like Easter eggs and stuff. That this famous Jedi had, that it's like the first dual bladed lightsaber, but the hilt is the same size as a regular lightsaber, so you can't two hand it. You have to use one. You can only use one hand to hold it. And it's like from like this famous samurai that it was like the first one to kind of combine light side and dark side stuff, and have it be that he goes and finds this lightsaber. That's like part of his quest. He goes and finds this lightsaber, and you could do some shit like that. Or also thought like maybe like in the meantime, again to go back to like the whole samurai thing. In the meantime, while he's trying to figure out how to get a new lightsaber, he has I forget what they're called, like vibro blades or something like that. They're in like the old Republic games, but it's like basically like the katana. It's like a full length katana version of the vibro blades. A lot of the Mandalorians in the show have like knives of them, and like some of them have like wrist knives or like regular knives, but no one like they're in the lore. There's like full length swords like that. So maybe have it that like he finds one or he meets somebody who their ancestors were part of that, like active in the military at that time period, and they have it as like a family relic, is like an ancient, like 2,000 year old sword, and that's what he uses for like a time period. So he carries like an actual like sword on him and stuff.
Yeah,
that was just like stuff that I've been thinking about at work. as like a soft pitch.
I dig that. See, I really want them to do Knights of the Old Republic. Like, preferably in films.
They're doing like some Old Republic stuff. They are. I don't know. It's not specifically Knights of the Old Republic like the games, but they are. Yeah. That's like been a thing that they've been exploring more in recent years. Like they did a whole like initiative where they started doing more new books, and like their new version of the Old Republic.
And then Disney came back out and was like, "Oh yeah, Revan's canon again."
Yeah. So, we'll see how popular. And it could be that they're doing that because, Everyone hated when they did new movies, so they're going to go back in time now and see if that works.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the thing is, I mean, I hope at some point there's like they don't necessarily have to be like at like 9, 10, and 11, or no 10, 11, and 12 necessarily, but I mean they I think at some point
They can do another. They can do a different saga at
somebody
least.
who's competent should do major events that move the timeline forward. Because like
Yeah.
right now, like all the good stuff. To be honest, like some of the best stuff going on right now in Star Wars is all the in between stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
Mandalorian and like a lot of this stuff is like between uh Galactic Civil War and First Order, like New Republic era, and then like there's like
It's just little bridges that are building up to each of
yeah, and there's
major
like the
events.
Clone Wars and the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor game that either just came out, it's about to come out. That's between the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War, and so it's like okay, we're filling in these gaps stuff. That's cool. Uh, there's a start and end point to that time. They're only a couple years. They're
Yeah.
each about like a 20 or so year gap. There's only so much content you could do there, and they're probably not going to
What
do
kind
anything
of?
that outshines the movies necessarily.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's, I mean, I guess if whatever Old Republic like show or movies that they do are popular, they'll do more of that. But it would be cool at some point to move the plot line forward with new characters.
Yeah. Do we desperately just need like a full like I don't want like a fucking continuation of a fucking Skywalker saga.
No,
That
they should
that
have
should
never did
be
that.
dead in the dirt. It's where it's at now, and just fucking leave it be.
Yeah,
And I think they're in their best interest. What they need to do is just start on another saga, whether it's going into the past or into however far into the
I mean that could
future.
just be like maybe this is what like the Disney era will be remembered as is they went back in time to the Old Republic and just did a bunch of shit there.
Yeah.
I mean that gives them
I mean, there's
more
one
freedom.
out there that have the shit written down already. Like you got all of Legends, even though Kathleen has said she doesn't give a fuck about Legends.
Well, and now something
Fuck
that
that
Disney already
bitch.
did is I mean here's the thing. Here's the thing. To play devil's advocate, like I understand 100% why they got rid of all the legends, and it wasn't probably just her. It was like Disney in general, because uh they're Star Wars like they're not adapting anything for Star Wars. I mean they've been because it's really popular. They take things from it like Thrawn and all that. They've brought into like the main lore and stuff. They've expanded on stuff
Yeah.
pulling from it, but there's so much there that they don't want to necessarily. And this just could also be like a good thing too. They don't want to lock themselves in to something that other people have written that they had no input in or no say in. So, and some of those
Right.
stories are old, like they're fucking 20 years old. Like maybe they could do like a better take on it or something, or they could do like as they showed with the last 7, 8, 9. They could do a worse version of it. It's a double edged sword. Like they could do a better version, they could do a worse version. So, and that's the thing is like for up until like that happened, like Disney purchased everything was canon. Like there's some stuff that kind of like contradicted each other, but everything was canon. That's a cool thing and a
Yeah.
bad thing, because then it locks you into shit. Like that's one of the things that's cool about the Warhammer lore is that yeah, it is, but like they very make it clear very much so that there's not really such thing as a reliable like narrator. Like people lie. Some of it's propaganda. Some of it's lies. Some of them they just don't know the truth. It's
Yeah.
some of the things are myth. Like that's like why no one knows the origin of the emperor. It's because it's gone. It's turned to myth, and all the records are gone. They just know that he showed up
Yeah.
one day. One of the people in Warhammer and in the fandom, but like there's a theory that he was like the first man. Like he's basically Adam from Adam and Eve, and he's just been alive this whole time. Another theory is that he just shows up like around 10,000 years. Nobody knows. So like that's like the thing that like if you have all these books and games and comics and animated shows that are all canon with each other, and you go to make new shit in that same time period, it's like, oh, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't go here, we can't do this unless we just adapt what's already made, and then they can't make no new shit.
Yeah.
Which I mean, don't get me wrong, like even in like the Mandalorian, which I think is like really good, there are definitely moments where it's like, oh yeah, this is Disney coming in and doing something. Like one of the recent episodes,
Yeah.
uh, they're hanging out with like the secret like group of the Mandalorians or whatever, and the place where they're hiding out at and camping out. There's these like giant fucking pterodactyl fucking birds that one of them kidnaps one of their kids, and so like they're like there's like a thing where they're hunting it down or whatever, and they find it, they rescue the kid, they kill it. Well, this pterodactyl thing had like babies in its nest, and it's like just recently hatched. And when they killed it, well, first of all, they didn't kill it actually. They tied up its wings and it fell into the water. Then a giant fucking dinosaur thing ate it. So they didn't kill it directly. But that wasn't a part that I went, oh, that's Disney. Because my immediately thought when that happened was, oh, its babies are going to fucking die now because it doesn't have a mother to get its food. And then cut to the next scene. They come back to like where the camp is and they bring, oh, we got the kid. And we have some new foundlings. And they brought the fucking babies in the fucking ship with them. And I was like, oh, Disney. And by the way, they're like 8 feet tall. They're like you could ride these, and they're babies, like like that's how big the pterodactyl thing was. It was fucking massive. And I was just like, oh, Disney, why are you Disneying it up? But other than that, like the show's usually pretty good. Like there was a character that just died that had a pretty epic death.
It's just.
They should have just never. They should have never mentioned. They shouldn't. Well, to be honest, they shouldn't have even showed them. But they should have never. They should have just left it at that. Like, oh look, we took care of the big one. Okay, moving on.
They backed themselves into a corner and were just like, oh wait, fuck.
I think it's because I think what happened was because I think the idea was that like by the time they got to the nest, the big mother one was gonna had actually swallowed the kid whole. It was still alive and was going to upchuck him to feed it to the babies. And they're like, oh, that'd be like a funny, wild scene, like it's just a wild, crazy thing. And then they rescue the kid, this and that, and take care of their mother. And they probably didn't do anything. And then they probably like showed like the footage to the Disney executives, like the yes people, like Caffeine and the other dude and all that. And they're like, oh, but they probably went, but what about the baby chicken dinosaur pterodactyl things? What about them? What happened to them? Are they going to die without their mother? You can't do that. You can't. This is Disney. You can't do that. That's what I imagine happened.
Probably.
And they probably weren't going to even acknowledge it. Or maybe they're just so used to it that they pre-planned for it.
Fucking Christ, man.
Oh, which, by the way, they brought them and were like...
You go and fucking eat eggs.
Oh, by the way, fucking... That's different. That's fucking a hairy egg that the jaw was fucking sucked on. Okay. It's an egg. These were already hatched. But what's funny is that was a couple episodes ago, and so the Mandalorians, like they brought them like, oh, we found you, we found you some new foundlings for the Mandalorians. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure they ate them, like low key, because I was just, in my head I was like, they never referenced it or showed them again. And they moved. They don't live on that planet no more. They had to move their camp again, and I was just thinking, wow, so they probably what they did. They probably did that for Disney, and then they just never referenced it again. But I just remembered there's a shot where I don't know how I didn't notice this earlier until literally just now I realized this, where the Mandalorians are at their new base camping out, and just in the corner of the screen they have like a big campfire with this huge rotisserie chicken looking thing. And I remember going, man, that's a big ass fucking chicken. Where the fuck they find that? And just not thinking about it until just now I realized they ate those babies. They 100% rotisserie them on a giant campfire and ate them. I just realized that. They fucking slipped that shit in.
That's fucking awesome. So that's basically, that was them giving the middle finger to the mouse, kinda. I feel like. They were just like, fuck you.
That is, I can't believe I didn't realize that. That is fucking funny.
That's
and awesome. I remember thinking like, man, like, they're on this desert planet. Where'd they get these giant chickens? These giant, like, dodo bird-looking chicken things. That's where they got them.
Yep.
That's
actually a lot better now than just
Yeah.
leaving them there.
Now
It's
that I
so much
realize,
better.
because I was just thinking like because that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, they probably just like said, fuck it, we're never going to come back to this plot line. They're not going to make these giant fucking pterodactyl things fucking Mandalorians. That's stupid. They ate them.
Because I mean, if you're gonna like, if there's anything I've learned with like writing and shit like that,
Mhm.
usually in a story, a writer will do that, and only if those things are gonna have a main purpose down the road.
Well, and good writing.
Which, yeah, good. I mean, a good writer would be like, yeah, we're gonna hint that like, hey, these are gonna come in as a bit of a like an ally later on, instead of
Yeah,
just
I mean, it could
saving
be.
them out of the
Well, you say it like
goodwill.
that. It's also that could also be like a sign of like very bad writing, where, oh, the last minute when they're almost dead, these fucking giant full grown pterodactyl motherfuckers are gonna swoop in like the fucking eagles in fucking Lord of the Rings and save the day. You're like,
Frodo should have. Oh, Frodo and Sam should have took the Eagles.
they should have fucking took the pterodactyl fucking things that eat kids.
Oh man.
But
Oh
they
god.
probably what happened
Only
to them.
fucking.
So this is in my head. What happened is they had to they had to show that the kids were still alive. The little baby pterodactyl things were still alive. And then like an
Yeah.
episode or two later, like, hey, don't be funny. fuck them
We
kids.
think that shit in.
fucking let's
That's
fucking have them
awesome.
rotisserie cook them rotisserie style on an open fire.
Fuck yeah, dude.
God, that is
That's
so
like
funny.
God. That kind of like reminds me of I think it was Shrek or whatever. Fucking like at the beginning, like you see like all the little fairy creatures and everything like that, the talking bears
Hmm.
with like the pink ribbon get thrown in a cage and separated from its family. And then later on in the movie, in
Yeah,
Fiona's
it's the
room,
fucking
you
rug.
see a carpet of a rug with a bear that has that fucking
It's
same
the
pink
mama
bow
bear
tie.
from the Goldilocks story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Shrek.
Yeah, dude. I remember I even remember like the first time
And
watching it, I
then well,
saw
no,
that and I
well,
was
no.
like,
What's even worse
fuck.
is they show him again later, and the little bear's crying to the father, and the
Yeah.
mom's nowhere to be seen for the rest of the movie. Oh,
That right there is good fucking writing. That's good writing right there.
that's just good, like smart, like funny visuals. Oh man.
Fuck, dude.
So
Yeah.
just kind of like going back to that pitch that I had about that like samurai styles. That was like an idea that I kind of have for going forward for like because like this week we didn't really have like topics. Like I didn't have any like topics really prepared. So I was thinking maybe for
Yeah.
when we have that, we could each like take turns doing like our pitches for like shows and movies and like different things. Like it could be Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Harry Potter, whatever the fuck, or Warhammer, and like that was like an idea
Yeah.
that I had like some like what will be like a cool thing that I would want to see,
Yeah.
and maybe in the future you could do one or something as like because we could easily like I could easily go into way more. I've thought about it like for like 2 or 3 days of work, so like 16 to 20 hours. I thought about it just like while I was working. So like there's obviously like
Yeah.
way more detail I could go into it, but like in the future, like if we ever
Oh
like
yeah.
need something to fill time, we could always just like, hey, here's like an idea that I've been thinking about for like a fucking Gundam show
Oh
or something,
yeah.
just like whatever.
Oh yeah. I dig that. I dig that. Sheesh. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do that. That'd be
Just as
fucking.
something to
That'd be a
have
lot of
whenever we're
fun.
like it's like slow on stuff to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover today. Um,
I don't think I had any.
we are getting ready to have our second
Ooh.
D&D session coming in a couple days.
Yeah.
Excited for that. Um,
Yeah.
then have to figure out some
I
stuff
did.
that we talked about.
Yeah. I did go ahead and prep for it a little bit. I haven't gotten to write down much as of late, but this book is gonna help out so fucking
Ooh.
much throughout the campaign.
Oh yeah,
Mon-
yeah. You told me you got that.
So this is replacing Morning Cayman's, Tomofo's, and Bolo's Guide to Monsters. It's like a revised version, adding shit and
Yeah,
changing up some
they
stuff.
took some of the monsters that were in those books and like revised them a little bit. put a lot of the extra races that they had made into that book. And then I think there
Oh
might be
yeah.
some other stuff. I know there's some like new monsters too. Um,
Um, they added, yeah, like with a lot of like the different monsters and shit like that, they added like actual like fucking like abilities, I guess you could
hmm,
say, to them. Like the orcs added shit. Yeah, there's just new races like your guy, the Shadar Kai.
from that book.
Um, fucking I don't think the Tabaxi. I think some of them changed, but the thing that makes me the happiest because the only other way you would have able to gotten this race is through Tomb of the Ancients, I think is what it's called, or
Tomb of Annihilation.
fucking Tomb of Annihilation, and it's the fucking turtle, dude.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
fuck. It's in there, dude. I literally as soon I was flipping through the pages and I come across it, and my fucking face just got like the biggest
fucking
smile, dude.
Oogway.
I was like, fucking Uguay's coming in somewheres, dude. Uguay is coming in somewheres.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
I
wouldn't
did think
mind
it was
one day.
interesting.
I wouldn't mind one day playing one of those. But that's something that I am very worried about. Being called
Yeah,
Oogway.
that is, yeah,
To the point where I might just have to name the character that.
yeah, literally. I feel like that's like the meme now with anybody who fucking plays a turtle is you're automatically just gonna be fucking Uguay throughout the entire
Just
campaign.
because there's so many memes of Oogway. That's why. If he wasn't
Yep.
so popular in memes, like, it wouldn't be an issue. I don't think people would think about it. But the motherfucker's persistent, man. He stays around in the fucking zeitgeist. Won't fucking go
Yep.
away.
Yeah, Uguay lives rent free in
Yeah.
a lot of fucking D&D communities' minds.
Well, just in general, like, I fucking saw some Uwe memes like just the other day. Probably even today I
Shit.
saw some.
Yeah. This was a fucking weird race to put in here, but I guess it's kind of cool. Fairies.
Oh yeah, yeah, that they're in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I'm just like I'm kind of thinking like because you're technically small, but you're not like really tiny either. So I'm
I
like
think they might
trying
be
to
the smallest
visualize,
race.
yeah, which I don't know because like to me like if I don't know, that's such a weird fucking one for me because like I look at it like this like with damage and everything, like weapons would obviously have to be tiny.
I
So
mean,
I
you could
mean,
have. Well, see, I think that they're probably intended to be played as a spellcaster. Um,
yeah,
in theory, I mean, like, it also depends on like where you strike. If you're a fairy, you could just fly up and like fucking shank them in the neck or whatever, hit them in their fucking like in like their artery in their thigh or whatever that could kill you, and shit like
open the temple or something like
or
that.
or which this I'm excited about. The fucking Spelljammer book has the hamsters as monsters, and one of its attack is go for the eyes.
And it blinds them.
I forget exactly if that's what it is. And I think the idea is that it crawls into your brain cavity.
Yeah, because that's what Boo is. Yeah, Boo's
Which
the fucking little
Boo in because Boo exists also in Spelljammer. Oh, he's like
yeah.
6 feet tall in Spelljammer. He's a giant hamster.
Oh, he's not tiny. He's actually a fucking giant in this.
Yeah, because I believe there's two types of hamsters. Which is he on the cover of
Yeah,
one of the books? No, he's not.
because the companion is the Goliath, I think.
Well, yeah. So yeah, because there's that, and then there's two Boos. Uh, yeah, giant space hamster.
Giant space hamster. Jesus Christ. That one had some cool races in it. I'm not gonna lie.
It has some cool creatures and shit in it too.
Yeah,
Let me just flip on.
that would make for a badass campaign setting.
That's why I wanna do it. I thought I had it saved, but I haven't saved none of the pages yet. Wait, this also has a race called GIF, which are hippo people.
Yeah, those are actually in a. I
And
think those were brought in
Hadozi.
from the Guilds of Ravnica book, which I have, but I don't think they were a playable race. I
I
think.
don't know if they are in this. I think they are. And I know the Haddos are, which are like chimpanzee motherfuckers.
I don't feel like digging for that, but yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah, they're
they're in
space
one of the
whales,
books they're playable.
lunar dragons. Come on, what are the motherfuckers in here? Space plasmoids and other alien races. Oh yeah, solar dragons.
War dragons, dude.
Motherfucker, easy. Ah. So you might not be that tall, but that's a giant space hamster.
Jesus Christ.
The halfling could ride him easily. But they do have regular hamsters too.
Yeah.
Regular space. So the giant space hamster has an armor class of 11. The regular space hamster, which is a tiny monstrosity, as it's referred to, has an armor class of 15.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there it is. So go for the eyes. Recharge 6. Melee attack +7 to hit. Reach 5 feet. One creature. The hit is 8 or 1d6 +5 piercing damage, and the target must succeed a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or be blinded until the start of the hamster's next turn. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whereas the giant one only has bite. This one has bite and go for the eyes. You fucking bite on the regular hamster does 1. You don't even roll for it. It just does 1 piercing damage. That's what bite does. But go for the eyes does 1d6 +5.
God damn.
Oh yeah, there's space swine. Pigs who could fly.
Oh yeah, space swine, yeah. Fucking Christ.
Starlight apparitions. There's like all kinds of cool shit. Fucking 3 cream, which are like bug-like people. I think you might be able to play as them too.
Yeah.
Vampirates.
Pirates.
Yeah, it's fucking vampires. Zodar. That's a cool looking
It's like a really bad dad joke.
Well, I mean, they tell you like in the campaign book, one of the big inspirations, like, or for like the setting book or whatever, is fuck, what's the movie called? Oh fuck, I think there's a song about the movie too. Flash Gordon. Flash.
Oh fuck.
He's the savior of the universe. Yeah. That's like one of the big inspirations. Oh no, my fucking DM screen.
I actually got to see Flash Gordon in real life.
Really?
At Comic-Con. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He was next to the original Hulk actor. Can't remember his name, but yeah, he was
Lou
there.
Ferrigno.
Yeah. Swole motherfucker for his age, dude.
Fucking DM screen's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, it's a
Got
beautiful
the fucking
fucking
space
DM.
whale, and this is actually a ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my mind when I found out that there were space whales in the fucking in that
course.
universe. I was like, nice.
There's space whales in Star Wars too. They showed them off recently.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they showed them before. Lightspeed technology is based off of the space whales. So I think actually they showed it first in Rebels, and they showed it just in the season of The Mandalorian, when traveling through Lightspeed or whatever. They see them like on the sides of the ship, like just going at Lightspeed with them.
Holy shit.
And that's where Lightspeed comes from, is the space whales.
God damn. Makes sense. Alright. But yeah, that is everything I had.
Yeah,
for
it's a good place to call it.
Alright, well, thank you everybody for sticking around for episode 16. Make sure to follow us down in our links below. Follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, all that good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Next episode for podcast come out on Sundays. We're on our A Way Out Let's Play as well. Those are going to be coming out on Wednesdays, and we're pushing close to the end in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there, and it's fucking getting
Yes.
spicy.
And
It's getting spicy.
definitely check out for my Twitch because I've been streaming a lot the past like week or two. I've been playing Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster. There's a lot of side content that I didn't do playing through the story. That the main thing that I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with now is the homestead missions. There's a lot more than I remember. A lot
Yeah.
more. Um,
Oh yeah.
I tried doing them, finishing them during my last stream, and after like 3 hours of playing and having done a whole lot of missions, I wasn't done. So
Oh yeah.
this
Them
weekend,
homestead missions, fucking yeah.
and they're fun. They're alright
You-
missions. They're just taking. There's way more than I thought there were.
there was a lot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because
But
there's all the people that can be leveled up, and then there's a couple like optional people like characters you get on the side. And so I have all the characters, and most of them I think are leveled up all the way. I'm not sure. Like whenever you do a mission, they level up. But I gotta see. I think I only have a couple left. And then it's gonna start doing some of the collectibles and start doing all the liberation missions and trying to knock out the naval missions. I haven't really done like any of them other than the
yeah.
story ones. Setting up the convoys and shit and trying to get what I can. And yeah,
Hell yeah, dude. Fun ass game. That is a fun ass
yeah.
game.
I mean, yeah. I definitely playing it like because that's one of the ones that I kind of skipped and I went back later on and playing it again now, just like to see how I feel about it now. Yeah, it's the gameplay is pretty good and it's the first one like when they first really like try to revamp the gameplay and like I definitely see like okay this is like where they had the ideas that would be improved upon in Black Flag and 4 and what made that one a good game, but it's like an early like archaic version of it. Like
Yeah.
the fucking combat's way smoother in 4. It's the same like where it's where it all becomes parries and counters pretty much, but it's I remember it being a lot smoother. It there's a couple enemy types that I just hate coming against because you can't like some of them you can't really counter or you like have to weaken them first before you can actually counter them and shit and disarm them and stuff. It's kind of annoying, but there's some fights that
Parry, counter, chain kills.
yeah, but four is better at it because you get the multiple pistol shots and what was it in the DLC for that you can get the fucking blunderbuss and just take out a whole group of them in one shot. Uh, Plus the dueling the swords is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
This one I didn't
Oh
even like
yeah.
ever like upgrade my weapons or none of my gear and stuff. There's not really that much to upgrade. It's kind of hard to get it like early on. Like I got like I think I upgraded the pistol once. It's not even the best pistol. I think I still have the starter tomahawk,
Yeah.
and that's it. I never did like the different like satchel upgrades. I'm only just now doing them because I'm doing the homestead missions, and you kind of needed some of the characters that don't show up until later in the game, and you have to have them leveled up, and you have to get all the fucking resources and shit. God,
Yeah, buddy.
that's why I'm like trying to knock all those missions out so I could just knock out all the upgrades and then just be done with it. Just send random convoys to make some money.
Yep.
And then I got to go do all the liberation missions and get all the assassins so I could do the assassin missions, send them out.
Yeah.
I fucking never did any of those. Only had like 2 of the assassins. I don't know how many you can get. I think there's several, but
Yeah, there's quite a few.
because
I think
it's
there's like 5.
yeah, because it's New York and Boston, and I don't know if the frontiers, but New York and Boston are split up into sections, and there's your contact, and there's a bunch of liberation missions you have to do, and doing so gets you the assassin. And
Yeah.
I've only done it in like 2 areas. The one that they make you do at early in the game, and then like a second one that I just randomly did, just like because I wanted to,
Yeah.
just because I wanted to clear up an area. All right, well that's enough long-winded ending. All right, well like, comment, subscribe. All we already said that, but come check us on Twitch and everything. Hasta la vista.